The rain fell hard on the metal streets of New Haven Colony. Water dripped through broken roof panels and pooled in the narrow alleys between the old buildings. Most people stayed inside when the acid rain came. But not everyone had a choice. Lee. Hannah pulled her dark hood lower over her face as she walked through the empty streets. Her boots splashed through puddles that glowed with strange colors from the chemical runoff. She carried a small bag of medical supplies she had bought from the black market traders. The bag was heavy, but she needed everything inside it. New Haven was not a good place to live. Sat on the edge of known space, where the big governments did not watch too closely. Pirates, smugglers, and worse, came here to hide or make deals. Most of the buildings were old mining equipment that had been turned into homes and shops. The air always smelled like metal and fuel. Hannah ran a small medical clinic in the worst part of the colony. She fixed broken bones, treated sick children, and helped anyone who needed it. She never asked questions about how people got hurt. Never asked for much money either. Most people thought she was just kind. They did not know the real reason she helped everyone. The clinic was a tiny building squeezed between a part shop and a bar. The sign outside just said doctor in 3 different alien languages. Hannah pushed open the heavy door and stepped. Inside, the lights were dimmed to save power. Medical equipment filled the small room. Some of it looked normal. Some of it did not belong on a colony like this. She put her supplies away in the right places. Everything had to be perfect, clean, ready. Her hands moved fast and sure, like someone who had done this many times before. A loud crash came from outside, then shouting. Hannah froze and listened. The voices were getting closer. She heard someone running, heavy footsteps. Then silence. Hannah went to the window and looked out. The street was empty except for the rain. She was about to turn away when she saw it. A trail of dark liquid leading to her door. Not water, blood. The door burst open. The thing that came through was huge. It had to duck to fit under the door. Frame. 8 feet tall and covered in black armor that looked like it grew from its skin. Sharp spikes came out of its shoulders and arms. Its hands ended in claws that could cut through metal. Yellow eyes glowed in a face that was all teeth and anger. It was a Throckary, the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. The kind of creature that made whole planets surrender without a fight. Most people would have screamed. Most people would have run. Hannah just looked at the blood dripping from its side and pointed to the medical bed. "Sit," she said quietly. The Throckary stared at her. Its yellow eyes were full of suspicion. It tilted its head like a confused animal. No one told a Throckary what to do. No one stayed calm when they saw one. "You are hurt," Hannah said. She kept her voice steady. "Sit down so I can help you." The creature made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You ... help me." Its voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. "You are prey. I am predator. You should run." "I'm a doctor," Hannah said. "You are bleeding. Running will not." "Stop the bleeding." The Throckary took a step forward. Its claws clicked on the floor. "What if I kill you?" "Then you will still be bleeding," Hannah said. She turned her back on the creature and started getting her medical tools ready. "And you will die slowly instead of quickly." For long seconds, nothing happened. Hannah could feel the creature watching her. She could hear its heavy breathing. She could smell the metal scent of its blood. She did not look back. Finally, she heard the medical bed creak as the Throckary sat down. "My name is Vexstar," it said. "I am a hunter of the Boneclaw clan. I have killed more enemies than you have seen stars." "I am Hannah," she replied, still not looking at him. "I have saved more lives than you have taken." Vexstar made that grinding laugh sound again. "You are strange little prey," not turned around. With her tools in hand, up close she could see the wound better. Something had shot him with a plasma rifle. The burn went deep into his side, through gaps in his natural armor. It was the kind of wound that would kill most creatures. "This will hurt," she said. "I am Throckary. We do not feel pain." Hannah started cleaning the wound. Vexstar's whole body went rigid. His claws dug into the metal bed, leaving deep scratches. But he did not make a sound. "Who shot you?" Hannah asked as she worked. "Bounty hunters. They thought they could collect the price on my head." Vexstar's voice was tight with held back pain. They were wrong, but you are here, bleeding. There were 12 of them. I killed 11. His yellow eyes watched her hands as she worked. The last one had good aim. Hannah said nothing. She had seen many wounds from many fights, one told. A story. The bounty hunters had set a careful trap. They had used the right weapons. They had almost won. You are not afraid, Vexter said. It sounded like a question. Fear does not help patients, Hannah said. She was using tools that most colony doctors could never afford. Tools that could heal wounds that should be impossible to fix. Most creatures run when they see Thrakari, even other predators. I'm not. Most creatures. Vexstar was quiet for a moment. No, you are not. Hannah worked for 2 hours. She cleaned the wound, sealed the damaged tissue, and gave him medicine to fight infection. Her hands never shook. Her breathing never changed. She worked like someone who had fixed much worse injuries than this. When she was finished, the wound was gone. Only a thin line showed where it had been. Vexstar looked down at his side. He flexed his muscles. No pain, no weakness. He had been dying when he came through her door. Now he felt stronger than before. How? He asked. Good tools, good training. Hannah was putting her equipment away. You will be fine now. Vexter stood up slowly. He was huge in the small room. His head almost touched the ceiling. What do you want for this? Nothing. Nothing. Vexter's eyes narrowed. Everyone wants something, especially from Thrakari. I want you to heal. I want you to live. That is enough. Vexstar had never heard words like that before. In his world, everything had a price. Every favor meant a debt. Every kindness hid a trap. I could kill you now, he said. Take what I want from this place. Could Hannah agreed, but you will not. How do you know? Because you are not here to kill. You are here to live. Vexstar stared at her for a long time. This small creature in the dark hood had saved his life. She had asked for nothing. She had shown no fear. She had treated him like someone worth saving. I will remember this, he said finally. Just remember to take care of yourself, Hannah said. The wound is healed, but you still need rest. Vexter walked to the door. He paused and looked back. Who are you really? I am a doctor who helps people. No, you are more than that. I can smell it on you. You are a hunter too, but you hunt different prey. Hannah said nothing. She just watched him go. Vexter stepped out into the rain. The cool water felt good on his armored skin. He looked back at the little clinic with its simple sign. Inside, the strange doctor was already cleaning up, getting ready for the next patient. He had come here to hide, to heal, to plan his revenge on the bounty hunters who had hurt him. But now he had questions. Questions about a doctor who was not. Afraid of apex predators? Questions about tools that could work miracles? Questions about a creature who hunted suffering instead of prey. Vexstar melted into the shadows between the buildings, but he did not leave the colony. Something told him his hunt was just beginning. 3 days had passed since Vexstar left the clinic. 3 days of watching from the shadows. Told himself he was just being careful, making sure the bounty hunters were really gone. But deep down he knew the truth. He was hunting again. This time, his prey was answers. Vexstar crouched on top of an old mining tower. From here he could see the whole colony. His yellow eyes never left the small clinic below. He watched people come and go. Sick children, injured workers, even dangerous criminals who should have been afraid to show their faces anywhere. All of them left the clinic looking better than when they went in. Inside the clinic, Hannah was treating a Zephyrian trader who had been poisoned by bad food. The blue-skinned alien was shaking with fever. His breathing was weak. Most doctors would have said he was going to die. This will taste bad, Hannah told him. She gave him a cup of medicine that glowed soft green in the dim light. The Zephyrian drank it down. Within minutes, his breathing got stronger. The fever broke. The poison that should have killed him was gone. How? The trader whispered. I was dying. You are better now, Hannah said. That is what matters. Kong Minho, Hannah's young assistant, watched from the corner. He was human too, though he kept his hood up like Hannah did. He took care of the medical machines and helped with patients. But today, he looked worried. The Throckery is still out there, Minho said quietly after the trader left. He has been watching us for 3 days. I know, Hannah said. She was cleaning her tools with the same careful movements she always used. What if he brings others? What if he tells people about what he saw here? Then we will deal with it. Minho was not satisfied. Hannah, we cannot keep taking risks like this. The council sent us here to help quietly. If people start asking questions, people always ask questions, Minho. It is what they do. From his perch on the tower, Vexstar could not hear their words, but he could see their body language. The young one was scared. The doctor was calm. Too calm, like someone who had faced much worse problems before. Vexstar climbed down from the tower and moved through the colony streets. His natural armor let him blend into shadows that would hide nothing else. Throckery were born hunters. They could track prey across whole star systems. Following one small doctor should be easy, but Hannah was not easy to follow. She moved through the colony like she knew every street, every alley, every hiding place. She took paths that made no sense. She doubled back on herself. She used routes that only someone with military training would know. Vexstar found himself working harder to track her than he had to track armed enemies. That night, Hannah left the clinic late. A family of Karathi had brought their sick baby to her. The little creature had been born with a genetic defect that meant it would die before its first birthday. Hannah had worked for hours with machines that Vexstar had never seen before. When the family left, they were crying with joy. Their baby was perfect, healthy. The genetic defect was gone like it had never existed. Vexstar followed Hannah as she walked home through the empty streets. She lived in a small apartment above a broken shop. Nothing special. Nothing that would make anyone look twice, but as Vexstar watched from across the street, he saw something that made his hunter instincts scream warnings. 3 figures were waiting. In the shadows near Hannah's building, they wore the dark clothes of assassins. They carried plasma knives and neural scramblers. Professional killers, the kind who made people disappear without a trace. Vexstar tensed. He should leave. This was not his fight. The doctor had helped him, but that did not make her his responsibility. But something made him stay and watch. Hannah walked toward her building like she did not see the assassins. She moved at the same steady pace she always used. Her hands stayed at her sides. She looked like an easy target. The assassins stepped out of the shadows. Dr. Hannah, the leader said. His voice was smooth and cold. Some people want to talk to you. I do not talk to people who hide in shadows, Hannah replied. She did not sound afraid. You will come with us, or we will make you come. No, the assassin leader smiled. It was not a nice smile. You are just one small doctor. We are 3 trained killers. Do the math. I did, Hannah said. You are right. The math does not work. The assassins moved fast, professional fast. Their plasma knives came out in perfect formation. They attacked from 3 directions at once. What happened next made Vexstar question everything he thought he knew about prey and predators. Hannah moved. She did not run. She did not scream. She moved like liquid death in a dark hood. The first assassin's knife never reached her. Her hand caught his wrist and twisted. The sound of breaking bone echoed through the empty street. The knife fell. Assassin followed it to the ground. The second assassin tried to grab her from behind. Hannah spun and drove her elbow into his throat. He dropped, gasping for air that would not come. The third assassin was the leader, the smart one. He jumped back and pulled out a neural scrambler. The weapon could shut down a person's nervous system from 10 feet away. Hannah looked at the weapon, and she looked at the assassin. That will not work on me. Everything works on everyone, the leader said. He fired. The blue energy hit Hannah square in the chest. She should have dropped like a stone. Her brain should have shut down. Her body should have gone limp. Instead, she kept walking toward him. The assassin fired again and again. The neural scrambler made angry beeping sounds. As it overheated, still Hannah came forward. What are you? The assassin whispered. I am someone who does not like being threatened, Hannah said. Her hand moved faster than Vextar could follow. The assassin leader crumpled to the ground next to his friends. All three killers were down. All three were still breathing, but they would not be getting up anytime soon. Hannah looked down at them for a moment. Then she pulled out a small device and spoke into it. Minho, cleanup needed at my apartment. 3 packages for pickup. On my way, came the reply. Hannah put the device away and looked directly at the building where Vextar was hiding. You can come out now, she said. I know you are there. Vextar felt a chill run down his armored spine. He had been perfectly hidden, no sound, no movement, no scent trail. How had she known? He climbed down from his hiding place and walked into the street. The 3 assassins were still unconscious around Hannah's feet. You were watching, she said. It was not a question. Yes. Why? Vextar looked at the unconscious killers. I think I did not need help. No, you did not. Vextar studied her with new eyes. You are not what you pretend to be. Neither are you. Thrakari do not usually watch over doctors. Thrakari do not usually meet doctors who are not afraid of them. Minho arrived with a small hover truck. He saw the 3 bodies and shook his head. Again, they will live, Hannah said. Take them to the usual place. Make sure they forget what happened here. What about him? Minho pointed at Vextar. He is not a problem. How do you know? Because if he was a problem, I would already be dealing with it. Minho loaded the assassins into his truck. As he worked, he kept glancing at Vextar with nervous eyes. Finally, he drove away, leaving Hannah and the Thrakari alone in the street. This is not the first time, Vextar said. No. How many have tried to kill you? Enough. Why do they want you dead? Hannah was quiet for a long moment. Some people do. Not like it when others try to help. That is not a real answer. It is the only answer I can give you. Vextar's hunting instincts were screaming now. The small creature had just defeated 3 professional assassins without breaking a sweat. She had tools that could cure impossible diseases. She had help that came when she called. She had enemies who sent killers in the night. She was not a simple doctor. She was something else, something that made dangerous people very afraid. Who are you really? Vextar asked. I am someone who fixes things that are broken, Hannah said, including people. Fixed me. Yes. Why? Because you were broken. And because fixing things is what I do. Vextar looked at her for a long time. In the dim street light, he could just see her face under the hood. Human features. But there was something in her eyes that was older than. Her young face. Something that spoke of battles fought and prices paid. I will keep watching, he said finally. Why? Because hunters protect what is valuable. You, Dr. Hannah, are very valuable indeed. Hannah watched him disappear back into the shadows. For the first time in 3 days, she smiled. The smile was not happy. It was the smile of someone who had just realized that her secret was starting to unravel and that things were about to get very interesting. The colony alarms started screaming at dawn. Red lights flashed through the streets. Emergency broadcasts echoed from every speaker in New Haven Colony. Quarantine alert. All citizens remain in your homes. Do not go outside. This is not a drill. Vextar watched from his hiding place as people ran through the streets in panic. Something was very wrong. In all his years of hunting across the galaxy, he had only heard alarms like this a few times. It meant death was coming for everyone. At the clinic, Hannah was already working. She had been up all night when the first sick person arrived, Korathi Minor, who could barely walk. His skin was turning black. His eyes were bleeding. He was dying from something Hannah had hoped never to see again. Xenomorphic plague, she told Minho quietly. Stage 3. Maybe 4. Minho went pale. That is impossible. The plague was destroyed years ago. The council made sure of it. Someone kept samples. Someone always keeps samples. More sick people began arriving. Different species, different ages, all showing the same symptoms. Black skin, bleeding eyes. Bodies shutting down one system at a time. The plague killed most creatures. In 6 hours, the lucky ones died faster. Hannah worked like a machine. She tested blood samples with equipment that hummed and glowed in ways that should not be possible. She mixed medicines that changed color when she added them together. She used tools that Minho had never seen before, even though he had worked with her for 2 years. Where did these machines come from? Minho asked, as he helped carry a dying child to a treatment bed. Later, Hannah said, "Right now, we save lives." But even Hannah's impossible tools were not enough. The plague was spreading too fast. More people were getting sick every hour. The colony's regular doctors had already given up. They locked themselves in their homes and waited to die. By noon, Vextar could smell death in the air. The Thackeray sense of smell was better than most creatures. He could tell that dozens of people were already dead. Dozens more would follow soon. But no one was dying at Hannah's clinic. Vextar moved closer to get a better look. What he saw made him question everything he thought he knew about medical science. Hannah was not just treating the plague, she was curing it completely. People who came in dying left walking and healthy. The black marks on their skin faded. Their eyes stopped bleeding. They looked better than they had before getting sick. Possible, Vextar whispered. The xenomorphic plague had no cure. The best doctors in the galaxy had tried for decades. Whole planets had been lost to it. The only way to stop it was to burn everything infected and hope it did not spread. But Hannah was stopping it one patient at a time. A new ship landed at the colony's small spaceport. It was sleek and fast. The kind of ship that belonged to someone with money and power. A young woman got out. She had dark hair and carried a recording device. She looked like a news reporter. Her name was Park Juwon. She worked for Galactic News Network. She had come to New Haven following stories of miracle cures and impossible medicine. Stories that always seemed to involve hooded doctors who appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Guan made her way through the panicking colony toward the clinic. She had to see this mystery doctor for herself, but she never made it that far. Another ship landed. This one was different. Military, government, the kind that carried diplomats and spies. A tall figure got out, blue skin, 4 arms, eyes like black glass. A Zeridian, the alien walked straight to Juwon and blocked her path. "Miss Park," the Zeridian said, "I am Nathera of the Diplomatic Corps. You should not be here. This is a free colony," Juwon said. "I have the right to report the news. Some news is dangerous to report." "What are you talking about?" Nathera looked around to make sure no one was listening. "You are here because of the miracle cures. The impossible medicine. The doctors who help everyone and ask nothing in return." "How did you know that?" "'Cause my government has been tracking the same things, so have others." Giwan felt a chill run down her spine. Tracking what things? Humans. The word hit Juwon like a physical blow. Humans were myths, legends, stories that old spacers told in bars. They were supposed to be extinct. Or maybe they had never existed at all. "That is impossible," Juwon said. "Is it? Think about what you have heard. Mysterious doctors with impossible skills, technology that should not exist. People who help others and disappear before questions can be asked. Always the same pattern, always the same results. Even if humans existed, why would they hide? Would you reveal yourself if you were surrounded by species that might see you as a threat, or worse, as something to be studied and controlled?" Juwon thought about the stories she had collected, dozens of them from across the galaxy. Always a hooded figure, always impossible cures, always gone before anyone could learn more.
"How long
"Have you known?" she asked. "My people have suspected for years, but we could never prove anything, until now." They both looked toward the clinic. Even from a distance, they could see the steady stream of sick people going in and healthy people coming out. "The plague should be killing everyone," Nethra said. "Instead, it is being cured by methods that do not exist in any medical database. Methods that work better than anything we have ever seen." From his hiding place, Vextar heard every word. His predator hearing could pick up conversations from much farther away than most creatures realized. What he heard made his world turn upside down. Humans. The galaxy thought they were extinct or imaginary. But Hannah was human. Vex single quotes Tar thought about everything he had seen. The medical equipment that was too advanced. The fighting skills that seemed impossible. The way dangerous criminals avoided the clinic like it was cursed. The assassins who disappeared without a trace. All of it made sense if Hannah was not just human. She was part of something bigger. Something hidden. Something that had been watching and helping the galaxy for years, without anyone knowing. Vexstar made a decision. He moved through the shadows toward the clinic. He had to know the truth. There was only one way to get it. Inside the clinic, Hannah was working on the 15th patient of the day. A Thackeray child whose parents had brought her in desperation. Even apex predators could die from the plague. The little girl was barely breathing. Her armor plating was turning black. She had maybe an hour left to live. Hannah worked with tools that glowed and hummed with power. She injected the child with medicine that sparkled like liquid starlight. She used a scanner that could see inside cells and fix them one at a time. Minho watched in amazement as the child's color returned to normal. Her breathing got stronger. Her eyes opened and focused. "How do you do it?" Minho asked. "Even with all this equipment, what you do should be impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Hannah said. "You just need the right knowledge. Knowledge that no one else in the galaxy has. Knowledge that no one else in the galaxy needs." The clinic door opened. Vexstar walked in. But this time he was not hurt. This time he was not hiding in shadows. He walked straight to Hannah and looked down at her with those yellow predator eyes. "I heard them talking," he said. "The reporter and the diplomat. They know what you are." Hannah kept working on her patient. "What am I, human?" The word hung in the air like a challenge. Minho stopped breathing. The Thackeray child's parents stepped back in fear. Even the unconscious patients seemed to sense that something important was happening. Hannah finally looked up at Vexstar. "And what if I am? Then everything I thought I knew about the galaxy is wrong. Would that be so bad?" Vexstar was quiet for a long moment. "Humans are supposed to be extinct. Maybe extinction is just another word for hiding. Why hide? If your people can do what I have seen you do, why not reveal yourselves? Why not take your place as the strongest species in the galaxy?" Hannah smiled sadly. "Because strength is not about being the strongest. It is about helping others become stronger." "It makes no sense." "It makes perfect sense. You just have to think like a human." Vexstar stared at her. "Show me." "Show you." "What?" "Show me what it means to think like a human. I have hunted across the galaxy. I have killed and conquered and taken what I wanted. But I have never saved a life just because it needed saving. I have never helped someone who could not help me back." Hannah looked at the Thackeray child, who was now sitting up and smiling. She looked at all the other patients who would live because she had helped them. She looked at Minho, who trusted her with secrets that could change the galaxy. Finally, she looked at Vexstar, the apex predator who had spent 3 days protecting her without being asked, who had chosen to stand with her instead of against her. "All right," she said quietly. "But once I show you the truth, there will be no going back. Are you ready for that?" Vexstar thought about his old life. Hunting, killing, taking what he wanted and destroying the rest. Then he thought about the last few days. Watching someone heal instead of hurt. Seeing strength used to protect instead of conquer. "I am ready," he said. Hannah reached up and slowly pulled back her hood. For the first time, Vexstar saw her face clearly. Human features. Young but wise eyes. Nothing that looked dangerous or threatening. Nothing that screamed apex predator. But in that moment, looking at her calm expression and gentle smile, Vexstar realized he was looking at something more dangerous than any Thackeray warrior, more powerful than any weapon. He was looking at hope, and hope he was beginning to understand could change everything. Vexstar stared at Hannah's face. Without the hood, she looked so young, so small. Nothing like the legends he had heard about humans. But her eyes told a different story. They were old eyes in a young face. Eyes that had seen too much. "You are really human?" he said quietly. "Yes, but humans are extinct." "Everyone knows this?" Hannah smiled sadly. "Everyone knows wrong." Before Vexstar could ask more questions, the clinic door burst open again. This time it was not a patient. This was a man in clean clothes with weapons on his belt. He moved like a soldier. His eyes found Hannah immediately. Time to go, he said. Hannah did not look surprised. Hello, Tae-young. Your cover is blown, Hannah. Half the galaxy is looking for you now. We have ships coming. Yoon Tae-young was tall and strong. He had the same young face and old eyes as Hannah. Another human. Vextar could smell it on him now that he knew what to look for. Under the normal. Sense was something different. Something that marked them as not quite like other species. I am not finished here, Hannah said. There are still sick people. There are always sick people. You cannot save them all. Can try. Tae-young looked around the clinic. He saw Minho. Working with patients, he saw the advanced medical equipment. Saw Vextar watching everything with those predator eyes. Who is the Thrakari? Tae-young asked. A friend, Hannah said. Friends are dangerous right now. Vextar stepped forward. I will not betray her. Tae-young laughed. It was not a happy sound. You are a hunter. Hunters hunt. It is what you do. Not anymore? Why should I believe you? Because she saved my life. Because she asks for nothing in return. Because she showed me that there are better ways to be strong. Tae-young studied the big alien. He had dealt with many species over the years. Most of them were predictable. They wanted power or money or territory, but this one was different. This one seemed to want something else entirely. What do you want from her? Tae-young asked. To understand, to learn, to protect? Protect what? This place, the idea that someone can heal instead of hurt. Before Tae-young could respond, alarms started ringing again. But these were different alarms. Ship alarms. Warning that something big was coming. Too late, Tae-young said. They found us. Through the clinic windows, they could see shapes moving. In the sky, big shapes. Warships dropping out of hyperspace. Some of them were smooth and white, human ships, though no one else would recognize them as such. Others were dark and angular. Thrakari military vessels. Why are your people here? Hannah asked Vextar. I do not know. I did not call them. The ships landed around the colony. Soldiers poured out, human soldiers in clean armor. Thrakari warriors in natural bone plates. Both groups moved toward the clinic. This is bad, Minho said from across the room. Very, very bad. The first to arrive were the Thrakari. A massive warrior, even bigger than Vextar, pushed through the clinic door. His armor was decorated with the bones of enemies. His claws were stained with old blood. This was Commander Jeltok, one of the most feared leaders in the Thrakari military. Vextar, he growled. You have been missing for days. The clan was worried. I was healing, Vextar said. From what? You sent no distress call. I was healing. From more than just wounds, Jeltok looked around the clinic. He saw the human equipment. He smelled the human scents. His eyes found Hannah and Tae-young. Humans, he said. The word came out like a curse. Yes, Vextar said. You knew? I learned. And you did not report this? No. Jeltok's claws extended. You betray your own species for these creatures? More Thrakari warriors filled the clinic. All of them were armed. All of them looked ready. For a fight, outside Hannah could hear human soldiers taking positions. The two most dangerous military forces in this part of the galaxy were about to clash, and her clinic was ground zero. Commander Hannah said quietly, Your warrior came here wounded. I healed him, nothing more. You are human, Jeltok said. Humans are dangerous. Humans are unpredictable. Humans should be extinct. Why? Because you are too different. Too strange. You think in ways that make no sense. Is helping people strange? Yes. Everything you do is strange. You heal enemies. You ask for nothing. You hide when you could conquer. Not natural. Tae-young moved closer to Hannah. It's going to get ugly fast. Then we stop it before it does. How? Hannah looked at Vextar. Trust me. The big warrior nodded without hesitation. Hannah stepped forward until she was face to face with Commander Jeltok. The Thrakari leader was twice her size. His claws could cut her in half. His armor could stop most weapons. But she did not look afraid. Commander, what do you know about humans? You are weak. But you have dangerous technology. You appear where you should not be. You do things that make no sense. What if I told you that we have been helping your people for years? Helping how? Remember the plague outbreak on Thrakari Prime 5 years ago? The one that almost killed? Your youngling's Jeltok's eyes narrowed. The cure came from nowhere. Our scientists could not explain it. It came from us. From humans like me. We saved your children and asked for nothing. Impossible. Remember the mining accident on your colony world? It's the one where 100 warriors were trapped underground? The rescue equipment appeared overnight. Equipment our people had never seen before. Human equipment. Human help. We saved your warriors and disappeared before anyone could ask questions. Jeltok was quiet for a long moment. Why? Because they needed help. Because we could provide it. Because that is what we do. You save enemies. We save anyone who needs saving, even species that would hunt us if they knew we existed. That makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. You just have to think beyond hunting and killing. Outside. The human soldiers were getting impatient. Our commander's voice came through Taeyang's communicator. We are surrounded. Thrakari ships have weapons locked on our position. Orders. Taeyang looked at Hannah. You call? Hannah turned to Vexstar. Can you make them understand? I can try. Vexstar faced his commander. Jeltok, this human saved my life. She asked for nothing. She showed no fear. She treated me with more honor than many of our own kind. She is prey. She is something else. Something we do not have words for. What? Hope. Jeltok laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Hope is weakness. Is it? Look around you, Commander. Look at what she has built here. Enemies of every species coming together. Of them trusting her. All of them leaving healthier than when they arrived. If that is weakness, then maybe weakness is stronger than we thought. You speak madness. I speak truth. For 3 days I watched her work. I saw miracles. Not just medical miracles. I saw species that hate each other sitting together in her waiting room. I saw killers and thieves leaving payment for services they could have taken by force. I saw predators protecting prey because this one small human showed them a different way to be strong. Jeltok looked around the clinic again, now that Vexstar mentioned it. He could see the signs. Weapons left at the door. Natural enemies sitting side by side. Smell of peace in a place that should have reeked of fear. This is not natural, he said. Maybe natural is not always right, Vexstar replied. The tension in the room was like a held breath. Thrakari warriors with claws extended. Human soldiers with weapons ready. 2 civilizations on the edge of a fight that could spread across the galaxy. And in the middle of it all, one small human doctor who had started it all by refusing to let anyone die on her watch. What do you want, Jeltok asked Hannah. To continue my work. To heal people. To help. And if we refuse, then I will find another place to work. Another colony that needs a doctor. But the work will continue. Other humans will come. Other humans are already here. We have been here for years. Helping, healing, protecting. You just never knew it. Jeltok was quiet for a very long time. Round him, his warriors waited for orders. Outside, human and Thrakari ships held each other at weapons range. Finally, the commander spoke. Show me, he said. Show you what? Show me what it means to heal instead of hunt. Hannah smiled. For the first time since the ships arrived, she looked hopeful. All right, she said. But it starts with putting away the weapons. Jeltok looked at his claws. Then he looked at Vexstar. This warrior had found something here. Something that had changed him from a simple hunter into something more. Maybe it was time to see what that something was. Warriors, he called out. Stand down. The Thrakari retracted their claws. Outside, Hannah could hear Taeyang giving similar orders to the human forces. Now what? Jeltok asked. Now we save lives, Hannah said. Together. The next morning, more ships arrived. Many more ships. Hannah stood outside her clinic watching the sky fill with vessels from across the galaxy. Sleek Zeridian cruisers. Massive Karathi cargo ships. Even the ancient crystal ships of the ethereal. Collective word had spread fast. Everyone wanted to see the humans who had been hiding in plain sight. "This is bigger than we planned," Tae-young said nervously. "Good things usually are," Hannah replied. "The biggest ship of all came last." It was white and smooth and bigger than most space stations. When it landed, the ground shook. Soldiers in perfect armor came out first, then diplomats in flowing robes. Finally, a single figure that made everyone stop and stare. Kim Soo-min walked down the ship's ramp like she owned the galaxy. She was small, like most humans, but she carried herself like someone who had never lost a fight. Behind her came more humans than most species had ever seen in one place. Doctors, engineers, soldiers, scientists, all of them young-looking. All of them with those same old, wise eyes. "Admiral," Hannah said with a small bow. Dr. Soo-min replied, "You've caused quite a stir." "I was just doing my job. Your job was to stay hidden. My job was to help people. Sometimes those things conflict." Admiral Soo-min looked around at the gathering crowd. Aliens of every species were coming to see the humans. Some looked curious. Some looked afraid. Some looked angry. "Well," Soo-min said, "we are certainly not hidden anymore." The biggest gathering was in the colony's main square. Someone had set up a platform where leaders could speak. Reporters from across the galaxy pointed cameras at the stage. This was the most important first contact in galactic history. "Hi." Chancellor Vorth of the Galactic Council stepped up to speak first. He was old and gray and had been making decisions for the galaxy for longer than most people had been alive. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began. "We are here because of recent discoveries. Discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew about our galaxy." The crowd murmured. Everyone knew something big was happening, but few knew exactly what. For years we have heard stories. Mysterious healers who appeared in times of crisis. Advanced technology that saved lives and disappeared. Medical miracles that had no explanation. We thought these were myths. We were wrong. Worth paused and looked directly at the group of humans standing near the platform. "Humans are real. They are here. They have been helping us for longer." Then we realized the reaction was instant. Some aliens cheered. Others shouted in fear. A few tried to run away. Most just stood in shocked silence. Furthermore, Vorth continued, "We have evidence that human intervention has prevented wars, stopped plagues, and saved millions of lives across dozens of worlds, all without asking for anything in return." Park Ju-won pushed through the crowd with her recording device. "Chancellor, if humans have this kind of power, why reveal themselves now? Why not continue hiding?" Before Vorth could answer, another voice spoke from the crowd. A deep, rumbling voice that made everyone turn. "'Cause hiding is no longer possible," Vexstar said as he walked toward the platform. "'Cause some truths are too important to keep secret." The crowd parted as the massive Thackeray approached. Apex predators commanded respect everywhere they went. But this time, Vexstar was not alone. Commander Jeltok walked beside him. Other Thrakari warriors followed. All of them had their claws retracted. All of them looked calm. "I am Vexstar of the Bone Claw clan," he announced. 7 days ago, I was dying. A human saved my life. It asked for nothing. She showed no fear. She treated me with more honor than I deserved." He turned to face Hannah, who was standing with the other humans. "Dr. Lee Hannah taught me that true strength is not about killing, it is about healing. True power is not about taking, it is about giving. True victory is not about conquering enemies. It is about making enemies into friends." Commander Jeltok stepped forward. "The Thrakari have always believed that might makes right, that the strongest should rule. But what we have seen here challenges that belief." "How?" someone in the crowd shouted. "Because these humans are stronger than us. Their technology is more advanced. Their ships are faster and better armed. But they do not use that strength to conquer. They use it to protect. They use it to heal. They use it to help." Another alien called out, "How do we know they are not planning to conquer us later?" Admiral Soo-min stepped up to the platform. When she spoke, her voice carried clearly across the square. "Because we have had the power to conquer you for decades. If that was our goal, we would have done it already." The crowd went silent. Humans have been living among you for 50 years. We have walked your streets. We have treated your sick. We have prevented your wars. We have done all of this in secret because we knew that knowledge of our existence would cause fear. We knew that fear would lead to conflict. Oh, we knew that conflict would hurt innocent people. Then why reveal yourselves now? Chancellor Vorth asked. Su Min looked at Hannah. Because one of our doctors decided that helping people was more important than following orders. Because a Thrakari warrior decided that protecting her was more important than hunting. Sometimes doing the right thing means taking risks. Hannah stepped up beside the Admiral. We revealed ourselves because hiding was hurting people. Every day we stayed secret was another day we could not help openly. Another day species suffered alone when we could have helped them together. What do you want from us? Vorth asked. Nothing, Hannah said simply. We want to give you things. Medical knowledge that can cure diseases you thought were impossible to treat. Knowledge that can make your lives better. Help with problems that seem too big to solve. In exchange for what? Nothing. The word echoed across the silent square. In a galaxy where everything had a price, where every favor meant a debt, the idea of getting something for nothing was almost incomprehensible. That is impossible, eh? Zeridian diplomat called out, Everyone wants something. We want you to be healthy, Hannah said. We want you to be safe. We want you to have good lives. That is what we want. Why? Because that is what we do. It is who we are. Vexstar walked up onto the platform. The massive predator stood beside the small human doctor. I have watched her work for days. I've seen miracles. But the biggest miracle is not her medicine. It is her heart. She saves lives because lives are worth saving. Nothing more. Nothing less? And you trust her? Vorth asked. I trust her with my life. I trust her with my honor. I trust her with my future, even though she is not Thrakari. Especially because she is not Thrakari. She showed me that being different is not something to fear. It is something to celebrate. Commander Geltok stepped up as well. The Thrakari Council has voted. Accept the humans as allies, as partners, as friends. The Zeridian Assembly agrees, called out Nethera from the crowd. The Karathi Federation supports this alliance, added another voice. One by one, representatives from across the galaxy spoke up. Some were hesitant, some were excited, but all of them were willing to try. Chancellor Vorth looked around at the gathering. Humans and aliens standing together. Former enemies, talking like friends, apex predators, protecting healers. It was unlike anything he had seen in decades of galactic politics. Very well, he said finally. The Galactic Council formally recognizes humanity as a member species. We welcome you to the galaxy that you have already been serving. The cheering that followed could be heard from orbit. 6 months later, Hannah stood in her new medical facility. It was much bigger than her old clinic. It had equipment from across the galaxy. Doctors and nurses from dozens of species worked together, sharing knowledge that had been kept secret for too long. Vexstar was there too, helping carry supplies and comfort frightened patients. He had learned that healing was just another kind of hunting. Instead of tracking prey, he tracked suffering. Instead of destroying enemies, he destroyed disease. Instead of taking lives, he helped save them. Any regrets? He asked Hannah, as they watched a Thrakari child play with a human nurse. About revealing our secret? No. Even though it changed everything, especially because it changed everything. Change is good, Vexter. It means we are growing. And if some people still fear us, then we keep proving that their fear is wrong. One patient at a time, one life at a time.
Oh.
One friend at a time. Vexstar nodded. Like you proved it to me, you proved it to yourself. I just gave you the chance. Outside, ships from across the galaxy came and went, bringing patients, bringing supplies, bringing new friends who wanted to help. Colony that had once been a hiding place for criminals was now a beacon of hope for the galaxy. Humans were no longer hidden. They were partners, were healers. They were the proof that the strongest species was not the one that conquered others. It was the one that helped others conquer themselves. And in a small medical facility, on the edge of known space, a human doctor and a Thrakari warrior continued. Their work healing bodies, mending hearts, building bridges between species that had never trusted each other before. They saved lives because lives were worth saving, nothing more. Nothing less. Everything else was just details.